Update. I accused my fiancé, 28 male, of cheating on me, 26 female, and left our house. Original post. My fiancé and I have been in a relationship for the last 6 years, engaged for the last 2 years, and we are about to get married in November 2024. On Monday, I woke up around 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom. As I walked past my fiancé's side of the bed, his phone went off with a message. I got curious and looked. The message was from a girl called Angie. The message said, "It was good to see you again. I had a lot of fun. We should do it again sometime." I took his phone with me to the bathroom and read their chats. Nothing sexual or even flirty, but there were a bunch of conversations about meeting up at her place, what they did that day, and all the fun they were having. I remembered that yesterday I wanted to do something with him, but he couldn't because his sister was in town and they had arranged to meet and hang out for months now. He did invite me along, but I didn't go. I didn't want to take away from his time with his sister. My thoughts immediately went to him cheating on me, and I started to bawl like a baby in the bathroom. My fiancé came rushing into the bathroom to see what was going on. I was not as quiet as I thought I was in the end. When he came close to me and asked what was going on, I told him not to touch me. He looked hurt in that moment and took a step back. I gave him his phone and told him to explain himself through my tears. He took the phone, looked, and laughed. Then I saw him laughing. I got up and stormed out, locking myself in the spare bedroom. He came to the bedroom and through the door said he was sorry for laughing and tried to explain himself. Before he said anything else, I told him to leave. He then went back to our bedroom. That morning, before he woke up, I grabbed some of my things and came to my sister's house. I have been here since Tuesday morning, too afraid to go home. He sent me a message that morning saying he heard and saw me leave, but didn't want to stop me because of what happened the night before. Again, he said sorry for laughing, but the situation was just ridiculous in the moment, and his tired brain responded with laughter. I sent back some hurtful things and said that he's a cheater. He responded with, "Angie is a nickname for my sister Angelina." He told me to confirm with his sisters if I didn't believe him, and told me to check Facebook and Insta if I needed proof because pictures were posted of their meetup yesterday. He didn't say anything about the hurtful things I said to him or anything else, but he told me the house is open for me to come back anytime I like. And when I do, we will have a serious conversation about what happened and what will happen going forward. I'm scared to go home because I feel like he will be breaking up with me, and I don't want that. How can I handle this? I know I was wrong for the way I acted. I acted like a child. I overreacted. How can I fix this? What can I do now? Edit. Before someone asks, I have heard him refer to his sister as Angie in the past, but my brain didn't put it together that night. I have been at my sister's house since Tuesday morning, too afraid to go home, and the only texts I've gotten from him so far are asking if I'm okay and goodnight texts. When I tried to talk over the phone, he says, "We will talk when you're home," and won't do it over the phone. The conversation is to be had face to face. Now for the top advice before reading the update days later. How did you not put Angie and Angelina together as the sister of the man you were supposedly marrying? Especially when he told you he was meeting his sister and invited you to go? Sorry, sis, but this is your own damn idiotic fault. Shaking my head. Especially since y'all have been together 6 years. You mean in all that time you've never heard her called Angie? She has heard him call his sister Angie. OP is deeply insecure, and I suspect this is not the first time she's been overcome with jealousy. OP is not mature enough to get married. She's hiding, knowing she was wrong, instead of communicating. Even if you hadn't heard him call her Angie before, you knew that his sister's name was Angelina, which is obviously very similar, and that she was in town and he'd been hanging out with her, and you immediately jumped to assuming he was cheating? I'm sorry, but this is an absolutely buck-wild reaction. If he doesn't break up with you, you need to get yourself into therapy ASAP and figure out where this knee-jerk reaction came from. In fact, you really should do that either way, because this level of trust issue in an otherwise stable 6-year relationship is not normal unless you're leaving out something huge like past infidelity. Nothing like that at all. He has always been loving and never hide anything from me. We know the password to every device each other owns. I hate to be the a-hole, but I'm curious as to why cheating was the first thing you went to. If he's never given you a reason to believe he's cheating, and when he was especially clear about what and who he was going to see, I can't help but feel like there's some projection or guilt on your end. I don't know. It just seems insane to me that that's where your mind went to, and that's how you reacted. I was cheated on before by my previous boyfriend and found out in an almost similar way. Now for the update days later. This morning I got ready to go home. Before I left, I had a final conversation with my sister, and she basically said the same as all of you. During our conversation, the doorbell rang and my sister went to see who was here so early on a Sunday. My fiancé walked in, and I was actually excited to see him. I went in to hug him, but he pushed me away. I felt hurt in that moment, and he asked to speak to me in private. We went up to the guest room where I was staying. I'm not going to say everything we discussed here, but the short version is this. He found it very childish of me to run out of the house without talking to him. He said he could forgive all of that because misunderstandings happen. But what he can't forgive is the way I acted, ignored him, and hid from him for the last week. My insecurities throughout these years have taken a toll on him, and he's done. The fact that a conversation with his sister caused me to do all of this made him see me in a different light. I did try to explain, and he laughed at me, saying my reasoning is BS, since not just he, but the whole family refers to his sister as Angie, and I know that. He even brought up instances where I called her Angie myself. I tried to tell him that when I saw the messages, my mind just went blank, and he responded with, "Stop making excuses. I'm done with this." He then said it's better to break up because he doesn't see this relationship going any further. I showed him all my stuff was packed and that I wanted to go home today. He just responded, "Too little, too late." And he said it like he was in a movie, with no emotion on his face. When he looked at me, all I saw on his face, for some reason, was pity for me. He said he will be canceling everything, and all the money I have spent on the wedding so far will be in my account as soon as he gets the refunds. Before he left, he just said, "I hope you find someone who will be able to handle your childishness and insecurities, but that won't be me." He brought all my things to my sister's house. He and two of his friends unloaded everything on my sister's lawn and left. What do I do now? I haven't been able to eat the whole day and just keep crying. How can I fix this? I was wrong, I know, but it's not fair that he dumped me because of this. Info: did you want him to cheat? Why were you so sure he was cheating when you literally know his sister's name is Angie? It sounds like you were almost looking for an out. Just break up with him. He deserves better. Saw your update. Good on him. What the heck do you mean it's not fair that he dumped you? I understand what he meant when he said you're childish. You literally sound like a toddler stomping your feet and saying, "It's not fair." It's absolutely fair. You disrespected him in your relationship by accusing him of infidelity, not letting him explain the extremely rational explanation, and then hiding at your sister's house for an entire week just to avoid facing the consequences of your actions. You need real psychological help if you were cheated on almost a decade ago and still use it as an excuse to be controlling, manipulative, jealous, and childish. I hope you learn from this experience and get the help you so obviously need. I wasn't. I have been cheated on before and my mind just went there. She had a lot of outs to save the situation. It sounds like, at the very least, if she had gone back home and faced her mistake after she realized what had really happened, he was willing to forgive her. But she childishly hid from him for days on end with no response. She asked for this outcome repeatedly. Honestly, this sounds like the last straw to me. Just reading the following line. My insecurities all throughout these years have taken a toll on him, and he is done. That just sounds to me like this is the last of a series of things stemming from her insecurity that have worn him down over the years. And this is the one that finally made him realize it's not going to get any better, and that if he marries her, it'll just be this in perpetuity. I have a friend who experienced something similar. Most people saw him split up with his ex-wife because of an argument. But in reality, it was the last straw in a long line of things that just wore him down. Like him going away with friends, and she would just assume he'd cheated until proven otherwise. So he left her once he realized it wasn't changing, and that he didn't want to have to put up with that. Her mind just went blank, for literally days? To be fair, it sounds like 3 of the 4 hamsters in her brain were already on vacation anyway. Next story. I, 30 male, proposed to my girlfriend, 27 female, and her reaction left me confused and hurt. How do I approach this? I proposed to my girlfriend yesterday, and while I thought I planned something really special, I'm feeling confused and hurt by how things unfolded. She's always said she wanted 3 things in a proposal. 1. A custom ring she's always wanted, which cost $16,000, though price isn't the issue. 2. A beach proposal, and 3. A surprise. To make it special, I booked a trip to a beach resort she's always talked about. I planned everything around her: snorkeling, swimming, activities she loves. I even had the hotel create a fake itinerary so I could propose during a private walk on a secluded beach. There was a photographer afterward to capture the moment. On the drive back, she seemed off. We had dinner reservations at 7:30, but because the proposal location was 15 minutes away, we didn't make it back in time. The restaurant offered to send our meals to our room instead, so we ate by the fireplace, just the 2 of us. That night, she told me she was disappointed. She had wanted to celebrate at the restaurant and didn't like having a photographer because she hadn't done her nails. She kept bringing it up throughout the night, and I was honestly shocked. I apologized for not getting back sooner and for the photographer, explaining that I just wanted to capture a special moment in a place we likely wouldn't be able to return to. We ended up arguing because she kept saying room service didn't feel like a proper way to mark our engagement. But in my heart, I had hoped she would just appreciate everything I put into planning this and that we'd be happy simply spending time together. How do I approach this? I just feel so hurt. Now for the top advice. You absolutely certain she is the type of person you actually want to spend your life with? She sounds exhausting. If you're ever thinking of maybe canceling the engagement and rethinking marriage with her, please somehow get the ring back before the talk. She doesn't exactly sound like the kind of person who would give the ring back after a breakup. Makeup wanting to get it properly sized, or adding an embellishment, or heck, just go and pluck it from the side of the bed she's on or something. A $16K custom ring for this ungrateful bee? No. Sir, you need to run, and fast. As a woman, if this is how my weekend and engagement went, getting back to the room would not end in room service. It would end in fiancé service. Dump her. You gave her the dream proposal, but she got stuck on minor details instead of appreciating the love behind it. If she's more upset about a dinner reservation than the fact that you just asked her to spend forever with you, maybe it's time to rethink who you're proposing to. Her take is, she didn't do her nails or eat at the restaurant. This ain't it. What a bummer. Edit. I appreciate the reality check everyone's given, with respect to my obsession over the photographer. Perhaps it's a mea culpa thing in wanting to believe that maybe I did mess up somehow. Otherwise, her reaction makes no sense to me, but therein lies the truth, I suppose. Last story. I lied about being pregnant and now I'm paying dearly. A while back, I lied about being pregnant to try to get my ex to stay. We were engaged, and he came home and ended things in the middle of the day completely out of the blue. The end of that relationship sent me into a spiral. I was really unwell. I think part of the reason I was so broken is that the therapist we had been seeing was actually a close friend of his mom and was more an agent of the mom than a true therapist. The therapist is actually the one who ended the relationship for my ex. My ex's family would have me followed, threatened to call my car in stolen, and were always sending cops to my door, which scared my kids to death. Before I went off his phone plan, they'd use my call logs and location data to track me. The dad actually showed up at the house I was hiding at and started taking pictures of me in my car. It was bad, and I was mentally and emotionally really unstable. I lied for months to everyone and eventually claimed to have given birth to a stillborn. I feel like a total piece of crap for this. I know it was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. I have a lot of hate toward myself for acting the way that I did and lying about something so god-awful. I truly feel like I'm a terrible human being. Fast forward to now, and I'm married to someone I'd love to have a baby with. We just suffered our 9th miscarriage in almost 4 years. I think it's my fault for lying. Some sort of karmic justice or something? We've seen specialists and have unexplained recurrent pregnancy loss. I'm really starting to think it's because of me. I don't know how to get this guilt off my chest. Reaching out to my ex isn't an option because it's not safe to do so. How far along were you when you miscarried? I went through something similar myself, recurrent losses, due to 2 undiagnosed immune disorders. And I'm wondering if there is some way I can help. After we discovered the root of the problem, I was able to carry 2 children to term. There is hope. I'm so glad you figured it out. My mother had 12 miscarriages and carried 4 children to term between them. For her, it was a case of rhesus, where the mother's system fights the fetus as a foreign body in her system. I also have a friend that suffered several miscarriages and was very focused on having children. I had told her to focus on getting her marriage back to health. They were both just 100% focusing on getting that baby, nothing else, and looking into adoption, etc. The moment she let go of stress, it'd be easier for her body to relax too. I didn't see her for a few years, and when I did, she was heavily pregnant with her 2nd baby. She said it was exactly like that. She stopped obsessing and it just happened. Just wanted to add to the "there is hope" message. You sound really unwell and fixated on your past. You are blaming your therapist years later and wrote more about how this was their fault than you did about lying for months about something so serious. It is very disturbing that some people are willing and able to engage in deception to that extent. It is harmful to others, and you cannot just blame it on your mental health and therapist. It doesn't matter what was going on in your life, what you did was wrong on a deep level. It's a cruel and extremely manipulative thing to do. I don't think your current struggles are related to that, but I do feel like this post itself is a way to ease your guilt about it in a toxic way. At this point, I am unwell. I keep suffering losses of children I want more than anything. It's heartbreaking and painful. I seem fixated on my past because, in general, I don't run around trying to hurt people, and this is the only thing I can think of that would lead me to deserve the pain and suffering I'm going through now. I'm looking for any reason, medical or not, that might be causing this. I'm not blaming the therapist. She didn't hold a gun to my head. My actions back then were mine and mine alone. I was giving context to the larger situation and my mental state at the time. Did you miss the part where I admitted that I know what I did was truly awful? Or that I experience a lot of self-loathing for having lied about something like that? I knew that I would probably face some heat, and nothing you say is worse than the things I say to myself about my past actions. I also knew there was a possibility I wouldn't be believed, and that's okay. The therapist is very much real, and I should have reported her because what she did was unethical and probably could have cost her her license. She was in a position of trust and abused that.